Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Nima, how you doing? How is everything?
I'm good. Yesterday we had the Jumoke's birthday lunch. Myself and Waiki. And we gave her a little beating. Somebody like that.
People still beat people on their birthdays.
You beat your friends when you need to drag them back. So we do that. Since we cannot do birthday shout-outs, I just have to be telling the truth of what I see on the road. So if my car is bad, whoever is in charge of authorities should know that I've been having to climb pavements, climb stones to get out of traffic and find my way into another street to get to work. It's tough what we go through there. So from Vokes now, you have trucks packed all the way to Ijebu trying to access the depot because, of course, you know what is happening around petrol. And it's been like that for the whole week. As this morning, trucks were pulling out of Apapa. And the same stretch all the way to Soya on the Ushoda Apapa Expressway. We just have problems that seem to defy any form of solution. You know, because we're not trying to do the right thing that we should do. And we cost people not just their lives, time, and resources. So every day I'll buy new shocks. Every day I will fix car. Every day thyroid. Every day this, because of the kind of driving we have to do. Yesterday I can boldly say I paid money to pass one way.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the only way to get home in shortest time.
Oh.
You know?
Sorry, lawyer.
Hello. If you get caught, it's not going to be easy. You
No,
pay
but
through your nose.
That area
in that area, to try to even catch somebody. You know me, I used to be self-righteous, trying to do the normal thing every day. But yesterday I got there, I looked at the traffic all the way. Just to get home to see my children. When the boys, Mother, I say how much?
How you doing, Takwe?
I'm good. Grateful to God. Yesterday, I wanted to check one of my locations I'm selling in Mowe. And as I turned towards the expressway, I just saw the entire, like it was traffic. I checked Google Map, where it usually takes me 30 minutes between Markle to our location in Mowe. It was 2 hours, 48 minutes. I said, we are not visiting Mowe today. We are going to Ikola. And, it's somehow the way just one breakdown can cause crazy traffic all over, chaos everywhere. It's really, really sad because I had a client that was supposed to meet me there and she didn't get my message. So she was stuck in that traffic for 2 hours. I had to just beg her that I'm really sorry. It usually doesn't happen like that. But she wanted to buy a land there. And in her mind now, she wouldn't want to go there anymore because she'll think that's the way it is every time. And it usually isn't. So
There should be quick response. That's Tope's story. Pulling out, I saw traffic. So we thought if you go to Alausa and turn on that bridge, but you didn't get to Alausa. We turned back. If there's quick response, it will make it easier.
Hi, Mariam. I love your shoes.
Thank you. I'm doing fine. I haven't been feeling too well anyway recently, and because now I like to feel that I eat well. So anything, all I have to do is sleep it off, sleep, and then it will go. But then I had to do a test. I have malaria.
Wow.
I checked all the regular. I do not have COVID.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm very sure. It's a rapid test, COVID center, and everything. So. But I have malaria, and then they did all the other tests, and they were like, your cholesterol is good, your blood sugar, everything is so good. And that's what I tell people, because usually when you do keto, people always assume that, your cholesterol will go high, or you're eating fat. The thing is, if you're eating the right kind of fat, there are different types. If you're eating butter instead of margarine, if you're eating palm oil is good for you, coconut oil is good for you, and you're eating them, in moderation, in the right quantity. So that is the problem. That is good. It's sugar that's the problem, and the combination of sugar with fat and all those things. So I was really happy to get my regular, clean bill of health.
Body checkup now because I've been eating wrong and I'm trying to correct my diet. I don't want to do a medical checkup now, honestly.
You bought sugar for yourself.
You bought
Me, I've been eating. I really have.
But it's not showing.
No, I've been eating. No, is that apple cider vinegar drinking? That's what I help you.
I've joined you. I've started.
But people don't drink it as if it's...
No, but I put it in water and I drink it every morning.
That thing is my lifesaver. Because if not for that thing, I would have really, really gone really. Because I eat a lot of chocolate. I can have chocolate for breakfast. I don't take cakes. You see, chocolate is a problem for me. I love dark chocolate. And I just take it and I can scoop it in some ice cream. I can bake some Maltesers in there and put some...
She's complaining about it, but she's describing it. Can I have some? Yeah, I'm not ready to talk.
So that's the problem I have. But you know what? I'm going to try I'm going to really, really try. You know, but that apple cider vinegar helps me. I don't know how it just helps me.
You know, when I visited the marina, someone just said to me, "Do you want amala?" They know that.
They know you.
And
did you eat amala?
I know. I let it pass. I just shaved.
Me, I eat amala. Next time they give you the place.
Oh, there's amala joints near my office.
Amala on the island.
On the island.
Want to tell me about it? Please. Sample island food.
I'll take amala Alausa here now. Correct amala.
Today.
Oh,
Okay.
goodness. Correct amala in
Police
Alausa.
side.
Yes, police side. That place. That place. Correct one.
Okay.
Let me go on a break. It's Friday. Let me enter my eyes. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, we're going to start with The Nation. Buhari, why I gave order to shoot criminals with AK-47. Delta can't claim Ibori linked 4.2 million pounds loot, says San. Italy, Norway, 5 others halt use of AstraZeneca vaccine. And bandits demand 200 million naira to free the Niger 19. Man, that's Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, says banks delaying CBN's 1 trillion naira stimulus. Okay, let's start with Ibori's. I know you're saying you're waiting for the lawyers to talk.
You know, I was waiting for it because there's always a dissenting judgment. No matter how popular a particular stand is, there's always a dissenting and there will be legal basis for it. So, let us say candidate Johnson said that the money does not belong to Delta State. And candidate Johnson, if I'm clear about it, I think he's from that area as well. So he said that the money belongs to the UK government who recovered the money from Ibori. And because of some form of arrangement, they decided to give it back to the nation they thought it was from. So they've given it to that nation under an arrangement. They also probably would have to.
So according to the law in UK, they're actually supposed to keep that money. But of benevolence, they now say, you know what, let me give it back to Nigeria based on these terms.
So he said that the popular talk about Plateau money we have been giving back to Plateau and all of those people, probably because of the disposition of government at the time, doesn't make it law. Do you understand that? You know, the real owners of the money is the British government.
Right.
And if the British government thinks this is process of corruption, they want to hold on to it. And the truth, that's the way I feel about this thing. Whenever we loot money to any country, that money is kept somewhere. Yeah. The money will accrue interest. That interest is, would have been used for projects in that country.
Of course.
And by the time it's coming back to
for Delta State to have done was to be involved in the conversation.
In the conversation with the government. But Nigerian government should also, have involved Delta State on the proceeds and, just sort of out of some...
So based on what Candidate Johnson was saying, that it's not about, there was really no conversation. No we just called you, we recover this money. Based on our own law, we can keep the money and use it. Yeah. But because of our benevolence and relationship with our country, we called you up and said, listen, we have this money, we're going to send it to you based on this condition. But you're right, maybe government should have also called Delta at that point. I hear your money, they want to be, how do we do this money? Whether you're involved?
If Delta State had been canvassing for, we have funds we don't know, we had funds that we've lost during the administration of Ibori. So there's a statement of we are searching for funds, and when the fund comes in, you now give it to the person that was searching for it, but they were not searching for the funds.
Okay.
I'll take the Manufacturers
Association
story. So the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, I've been told I talk too fast, have accused the money deposit banks of making it difficult for manufacturers within Nigeria to access the CBN funds. So the CBN has provided COVID-19 stimulus funds for manufacturers to reduce the cost of manufacturing in Nigeria, and they haven't been able to access it, saying that banks are saying they haven't gotten the framework, and it seems banks are putting bottlenecks. Only 30% of the funds have been disbursed. Out of 1 billion, only 300 million have been disbursed. So there is a large chunk of money that has been allocated, but the people who need it, the manufacturers, haven't been able to access it. Can we make it easier?
So we remember 19 people in Niger State were abducted, women were included, and now the bandits are asking for 200 million for them to be released. People in the village, they spoke to the village head. The community, they're saying, even if we were to sell our houses, there's no way we are going to be able to raise this money. And I'm trusting that the state government and the federal government sort of step in this case. Although I know that that particular state government has said that they do not negotiate with, bandits. But they've also closed down public schools for 2 weeks as well. I think it's just because of what is going on in
Let's move on now to the Punch. Vaccine side effect fear. Vaccination continues, says federal government. 8 countries suspended rollout. YouTube to deduct taxes from Nigerian content creators and others. FG rules out talks with bandits, ops for crackdown. 2 killed, police OPC go after Osun Bank robbers. FG begins selection of 500,000 N-Power beneficiaries. UK to stop recruiting doctors from Nigeria and 46 others. NIPOS reclaims right as FG strips FIRS of stamp duty collection. Reps canvas higher allocation for National Assembly is broke, say National Assembly. And Nigeria's rising debt servicing and economic threat, says SEC. Major headline, vaccine.
So, 8 European countries have suspended the COVID-19 vaccination, especially the AstraZeneca vaccine, and that is because there's been fear that there are side effects. In Denmark, a 60-year-old woman died after she had blood clots, and they said that the blood clot happened after she was vaccinated. And also another European country, a 40-something-year-old nurse as well, had blood clots and died. So many other European countries are holding off and suspending these vaccinations until investigations have been carried out to see if there's any correlation between the vaccination and the clots and the death. Nigeria is saying that we have no reason to worry. Okay, that was the incident that happened in Austria is not the same batch as the one in Nigeria. So
they are saying
they are going to continue giving us.
They should have said the batch that we have. According to them, they say ABV 5,300. ABV 5,300 is one used in Europe, and that is different from what we have. But name what we have. Let us know whether there are possible side effects to what we have. We are not guinea pigs.
Okay.
You know.
For me, what I just add to that is that I like the fact that that some other countries, even before the issue, even though they do not have the issues right now, they decided to hold off on vaccinating their people until.
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, continue the front page paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, are we still on Punch? Should we wanted to take another story?
I want to take the YouTuber story.
Okay,
so
I'll come to you anyway.
YouTube, it's a division of Google, has decided, sent a mail. Yes, YouTube has said that everyone,
Content creators
that are earning, and I'm pointing my finger because Raya is big on YouTube.
I've not collected this money.
They've not given you the money. You should have collected it too, because now they will be taxing that money. They said if you don't submit your tax ID, you might be forced to pay as high as 24%. Now, a lot of celebrities we have are on YouTube and they are earning money from that platform, but they haven't been remitting. Your royalties will now be taxed. Your income from YouTube will be taxed, and it will be remitted directly to the company. Good for Nigeria, for the country in terms of generating revenue from other means. It's creative, and I'm happy about it.
Okay.
I found this story of the young man, the one who was
Took
jailed for $8,000.
Right.
You know, for
The human interest story.
Yes, human interest at the bottom of phone. For claiming to be a U.S. citizen, he was able to access what they call their pandemic unemployment assistance in the U.S. And the guy did here.
Eh?
He was jailed here. I'm still wondering how did he do it. So they say that insisting that he got these benefits through Bitcoin wallet addresses that he got from operators and from cryptocurrency traders, and he got $8,000. And you're here. So cute.
Maybe he used the family's social security number or something, because there got to be security.
Hey, because thank you.
Maybe you know somebody.
Because the thing just came. I read the story 3 times.
And
I don't understand how come. Somebody here without being a
we use our smarts negatively.
Yes.
It's so unfortunate. We should use it to create and, innovate. Moving on now to Daily Sun. Illegal possession of AK-47, Buhari restates shoot on sight order. I like Daily Sun. They're very dramatic. Nigeria's doses of COVID-19 vaccine safe. We talked about that already. Yoruba Southeast Monarch Salt and others unite against insecurity. Uzodinma versus Okorocha, ex-Imo lawmaker, back governor. Groups clash over NDDC board as Buhari Commission's headquarters. PDP governor resolved to work with FG to address insecurity. Shake-up in Army Division 1, and U.S. offers to help Nigeria end kidnappings in schools. Okay, I have the story on the emirs, the Obas, when they have that story, right?
I have the story as well.
Okay.
So
Right.
all the traditional rulers of Nigeria went to visit the president. Their head is the Sultan and the Oni of Ife, and it was in solidarity to come together to speak concerning the insecurity challenges within the country. The president in that meeting now restated the fact that the order for shoot on sight is still effective for any headsman found with the AK-47.
And more importantly, they also went to the National Assembly, and where they actually said that between 1920 and 1960, the Obas, the traditional rulers, were quite empowered. But after the Nronsi takeover in 1966, and even General Gowon and Obasanjo in the 1976 and 1967, they actually introduced the local government reforms and the unitary system. All those things tarnished the image and also removed the efficacy of their own role in as traditional rulers, and they're now asking the National Assembly to please ensure that they are constitutionally empowered now going forward to take appropriate measures within their states on security, culture, tradition, and all auxiliary and ancillary roles that they want to play. So I think it's important. We've been saying it for a long time that they need to empower our traditional leaders.
They are the closest.
Is there another story in Daily Sun we've not taken? Let's move on very quickly now to Vanguard. Insecurity, FG shoots down talks on mercenaries. We won't cede land for ranching, Southeast governors say. 2 killed as gunmen rob bank in Osun. Makinde demands more troops in Oyo. FG confirms return of subsidy as PPPRA puts fuel price at 212 naira 61 kobo per litre. And those calling for my arrest are clowns, says Sheikh Gumi. What stories are we taking?
Okay.
Yeah, the mercenary story, or which one?
Okay, let me start with the major headline.
Major headline.
And the Minister for Defense has sort of swept aside the comments of people suggesting that, they employ mercenaries just as was done in February 2015 to help fight this Boko Haram and this banditry that we have in the country, that there were major results from there. And he's saying, no, our military is more than capable to handle it. We don't need any mercenary. But people are arguing that, engaging mercenaries is not new to us, and we saw the results. And I think that you should keep an open mind.
Mercenaries are expensive, extremely expensive. Most countries can't even afford it. But I think he did acknowledge that they use international intelligence. Okay. They engage international security operations just for intelligence, not for
so
the
let me just admit that I understand that I might not want to admit publicly in the news that they might be taking them. But let's keep our minds open, and we know that the results are not yet there. With the weekly kidnapping and now 200 million.
All right, any other story?
Yes, Southeast governors are saying that when it comes to ranching, under the platform of National Livestock Transformation Plan of the federal government, that there are some things that they will not be able to do, which is provide land for ranching. Because, of course, we know that region that's something that they have a shortage of land, but they do not mind the movement of cattle through their land, as long as those people do not come by foot. And then they said that when it comes to also the security in the Southeast, for those of them for people that have been canvassing for Southeast region security, that it will not work, that every region has its peculiarities in handling insecurity. Every state. And so he says that for them, what they have is like a joint committee. So they, in each state, that trains the vigilantes, all those that are involved in establishing security within their region. So it's a good conversation that
I find that disturbing, because I would have loved to have a southeastern. It shows collaboration, it shows that we are together. We are now saying that each state is peculiar and everybody knows their.
But as he says, it's for those of you that don't live in our region. You don't live here, so you do not understand the peculiarities of our own
situation.
Let me take okay.
Yeah, okay. So
is it painful news or expected news?
No.
We all knew.
No, they were in denial. We would want the answer. What would be the cost? But now, officially, for the month of March, petrol at pump price will be 212 naira per litre. And government is not still clear on removal of subsidy. So now the article is saying that for the month of March, government will have to pay 42 naira to subsidize the cost of petrol for the month of March. And even when it was 165, government was subsidizing at 16 naira per litre. So we are already subsidizing. Is it that there's a return of subsidy? We should be clear about it.
A question. What back to subsidy? They just said they are subsidizing 42 naira on every litre. And that means that in the next few months, you will hear 1 trillion naira was spent on subsidy.
Somehow, but they've not said it categorically.
This is the cost. And government has said it's now 212. Government did not tell you.
Exactly.
So the elephant in the room.
They say
we already knew that PPPRA is going to. Let's move on. Let me see how much time we have. We have a few more minutes. Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken at all. Gunmen kidnapped 2 students lecturing in Edo. Ranching, Fayemi not ceding Ekiti lands to headsmen, says APC. Southwest leaders meet in Ibadan next week for insecurity. Broad decisions move against forex speculators, black market dealers. How 2023 politics tempting high rates of dollars are encouraging drug trafficking. And House of Rep is broke, says spokesman.
So, the drug trafficking 20 and how...
Right, you're following this drug trafficking.
Yes, it's really big.
I do. And I'm just so impressed that, you know, we're hearing the story that they're catching them. And this particular report is saying that for at least 10 major drug arrests have been made at the Lagos airport. Within a month, I think they said. Yes. And the value of drugs that have been caught comes to about 10 billion naira. Wow. It's a huge market. And he's saying that one of the things that that may be that has brought about this continuous and pushing of this drug trafficking, even though they are arresting them, they are finding different ways to keep trafficking these drugs. It seems that because of the elections coming up, politicians are looking for different ways to raise money. Okay, there's also the fact that the exchange rate is quite high now, so people are looking for how they can get dollars and exchange dollars.
And the TSC has also closed a few loopholes, so everybody is now looking for ways.
You know what? It's very interesting. It says no matter how we were, chasing them and catching them, it has not quelled them. It hasn't reduced the number of people who are pushing these drugs.
According to the spokesperson for the NDLEA, Nigeria is no longer a transit country for drugs. It is a consuming country. I'd like to see the PR that they're doing around how many people they catch. Focus on how bad and dangerous these drugs are.
They do that.
And target younger people. So I'd like to see the advocacy go to schools, not just, some NGOs. I partner with one NGO. I want to see the NDLEA themselves start this school campaign so that the children that, innocently are falling. We had those things those days. That made us not dare.
I mean, there's a video, there's one particular show I watched when I was in primary school. I remember all the words from that thing because
I saw the consequence of mental health issues after drugs.
Take the story of the attack in Benue State. So Thursday morning around 4 a.m., 40 bandits, I don't know how to describe it, 40 people they stormed Haga village. It's in Saga community, and there was an attack. They burnt the police station, they burnt houses. There was even a duel between the police and these people that cost one policeman his life. And this is a community that is currently under curfew, so they defied the curfew. Whatever we're doing, we should stop playing talk shop to this insecurity challenge. People are losing lives and livelihood on a daily basis, cutting across the entire country. We can definitely do more. Our heart goes out to the policeman whose death was on the line of duty, and we pray the government actually takes care of the families left behind.
Okay, let's move on to Daily Trust. Let's find a story we've not taken. Despite poor state of schools, 41 billion naira UBEC fund unaccessed. Joint security network for Southeast impossible. FG confirms mild side effects for COVID-19 vaccine. How Iransi go on Obasanjo Foundation for Insecurity State Sultan. And Navy begins trial of officers, civilians involved in oil theft. Who has the UBEC story? Yes, go ahead, please.
According to the Executive Secretary of UBEC in Nigeria, the Universal Basic Education Commission, Amit Boboyi, he said, in trying to explain, the funds, available funds for UBEC and their projects, saying we have about 41 billion naira available, and we have only few states that have accessed and use these funds. He mentioned the states that in 2017, 20 to 2019, they have not accessed their funds and used this. They are Anambra, Imo, and Kaduna and Kwara. And in the same report, he added Ogun. in 2018 or go and play to those numbers for not having, access to beg funds. And so the state of their education and facilities of basic education in their states is just comatose.
So I was reading, what are the conditions to access the fund? Why have they not been able to access the fund?
Whatever the conditions are, a conscious government would. You have your ministries. You work the work now. You know how much work they need to put into it to help get us to that place. So you keep looking at other states and be saying, no, it's bad in your state. I would like to see Edo assess it very well. I like that primary school in my village to be at international standards. So that I can boast and say, yes, the children are getting, even if at least sometimes encourage schooling. When you have a nice place to go to.
Unfortunately, we have to run. Thank you very much, ladies, for it. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back to discuss our hot topic, stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So the past few days have seen a lot of people bear their minds on the trending Meghan Markle and Prince Harry saga, especially with their recent bombshell interview with Oprah, which took about 2 hours. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Were they right to have granted the interview in the first place? What are your thoughts based on the response of the monarch? And even recently, I hear that Harry was insisting that his family are not racist. Not Harry, William recently said that his family are not racist. Everybody has talked about it, except your view. And until your view talks about it, it hasn't been talked about. So we thought we should hear your thoughts. Please call us on 081-270-53687. You can also call us on 091-390-76948. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. Nigerians living in diaspora, especially in the UK, this is your time to call. We like to hear because you are the center of this matter. So come and educate us. Let us understand. Of course, there are information that we wouldn't know that go about that everybody, those who live in the UK, are privy to. We only are privy to the information based on Oprah's interview. But there are other back-end stories that people who are very close to the monarch and who live in the UK might have information. So do call us and let us hear your thoughts on this. But we're going to have this conversation in 2 parts. We're going to, in our own, talk about our view on the interview, the responses, and then we'll bring it home culturally. How in this situation, in our own context, in the African context, how would it have played out if it was in the African context? So let's start with your general view on Phil. Who would like to go first? Miriam, Nima, or
you are the one following monarchy. See, okay, so
let Miriam start so she can actually set the tone.
Okay, so for most people I think many people have seen the interview, and it was Meghan and Harry sitting with Oprah and just telling their story from when they were part of the royal family. They are not anymore. They are not officially working members of the royal family anymore. And they were sort of giving their own side of the story. So for me, when this thing came out, a lot of people were talking about racism because she sort of implied it, that the skin tone of her child was talked about. But for me, the part of the story that was important to me was the mental health issue that she said she had. And also because I also follow the story, from when she started dating him up until they sat with Oprah. I sort of have an idea of what the background story is. And so from the moment she met Harry till she sat down with Oprah, we heard, so first of all, she was described as like straight out of Compton. That's supposed to mean like she's ghetto. That, this one is a serious blackie, or she could as well be ghetto, So that's some of the things that were said about her. And they were said by newspapers, the tabloids. So one of the things she said was many of the stories that were said about her were untrue, were not completely, were taken out of context. So she gave her perspective. And she says there's a relationship between the monarchy and these newspapers. So they are able to refute lies. They're able to correct fake stories. They're able to give the right information, but they never did that for her, even though they did it for every other person that is a member of the royal family. It seemed like when it came to her, it was just okay for...
To turn the other way.
Yes, to turn the other way and have people think all sorts of things about her. And so when she sat down to speak with Oprah, she was now giving the side of her story. So there's been a part where everybody thought, oh, they decided to leave the royal family, and they did not even tell the Queen about it, or it was something that the Queen did not know about until when they were about to leave. So like she was blindsided. But they confirmed that she wasn't. In fact, the royal family was the one that asked them to leave. If they are unable to, be in the UK and perform their duties while in the UK, they can leave. Right. They talked about, and then she also talked about her mental health. She said, being someone who has always been outspoken, she speaks for women's rights, she found that she had to be quiet, she had to stay in a place for too long. She was not meant to be seen, and so that's just the background.
So for those of us that are familiar with the culture and the way of life of the British monarch and how they are very conservative, they don't have that assertive character and personality of the American person. The Americans, they have that confidence that some describe them as very boisterous when it comes to conversations. But the British are very reserved. They keep their things. Yes, they have a lot of dirt, but they keep it and they manage it within their own scope. But this is somewhat all new to them, where you're granted interviews with external, not just in a British paper, but with an American celebrities such as Oprah Winfrey. Now, a lot of people are saying that, was it right for them to even grant that interview in the first place? Was it right for them to have that conversation? And because Oprah was very clever. I mean, Oprah she's somebody who knows how to do an interview. She interviewed them together and then separately. It was very, very strategic. She knew exactly what she wanted to do. She wanted to extract information individually because she knew that you, American girl, you're different from this British man. Let me talk to you as a sister to sister and get the juice. So she got the juice she wanted. So in your view, how did you interpret that interview, Tokwe, and what did it communicate to you?
So for me, I felt that the marriage was, before the marriage took place, there was already a lot of issues because the interview now revealed how deeply entrenched those issues were. You know the way people play lip service to, we're not racist, we don't believe in racism, but your everyday action shows that you are being a racist. And that was what Meghan marrying Harry brought out, that they were just plastering the issues that, oh, we love black, we love Africans, we don't believe in slavery, what we did was wrong. That's a lie. Because in actual fact, we love you, just don't get too close. We don't come and taint our bloodline. All those, and the monarchy couldn't speak against it because the monarchy is funded by a system that runs on racism. So if they speak against it, how would they fund the monarchy? The monarchy is a business, and they needed to keep that business running. They need to keep it running. So the idea of expecting, of Harry or Meghan expecting that the monarchy will speak supporting them runs against the system on ground. And we all know now, appreciate your own. Stay within your own, because like it or not, you cannot expect them. And I like the fact that, let me just also make this point. I'm happy that Harry and Meghan worked so far, and I'm praying it works for much longer, because it shows that love can actually overcome whatever background you have, and I love love. So it felt so sweet that she is willing to stand by what he believes in, what he loves. Yes, that's what I'm praying, that it lasts long.
They are all saying that, yes, because the naysayers are saying, listen, there are two sides of the story. The other side is saying, even if today they are still doing lovey-lovey, tomorrow now, until we just walk away. And you are left, you just embarrass your entire family on the global stage. So when your American wife finally does, maybe, God forbid she does, but I'm just saying the other side is saying that, what if it happens where she leaves, something happens, then who would you go back to?
So this is how I see this story. So your story is your story, tell it. If you let people tell it for you, it will always be their account of what happened to you. So no matter how you see it, an interview needed to be done, it was done. There's someone they wanted to do it with, they did it with whoever they wanted to do it with. It could have been anybody else, but they chose Oprah. So maybe that's who they're comfortable around. And you saw the setting, it looked like they're doing the interview somewhere in heaven. Everybody just pure, everybody just clean like that, you know. So they talked, and they could easily you know, exhale. Probably pent up emotions and all of that they've been dealing with. But the way I see Meghan's story, you know, the reference to her being from Compton's and whatever, that, you know, that meant from the, own your story. Don't apologize for it. You're black, you're mixed race. The way I usually do my thing, I will tell you, okay, I'm so person, I live in my Abule Osho area, own your reality and be proud of it. You don't have to apologize for it. You know, let them accept you as a complete person. And if they don't, you chose that life. Yeah. You face it. You see, let me tell you, life is about you accepting yourself first. You see those people, they will always find it up and down. It might take some people a while. In my own reality, it took some people a long while to accept me. And I never beg them to. I always say I don't worry about adults. I worry about little children, people who depend on me. I cannot come and earn your love. It's not a project. It's not a project. I cannot focus my life.
In that same vein, I'll come to you, Nima. You know, in that same vein, if you are entering a monarch that is whitest, and they are saying this is who we are, there's institutional racism, that is who they are. Accept them for who they are. And there's always that part that
they never said so.
Listen, I'm just saying,
they were claiming
I'm trying to make a point.
And they say they want
I'm trying to make a point. The point she made is that you as a person, you're a minority, and you're coming into a family, and you stand tall and say, yes, I'm proudly. The white family you're getting into, I say, listen, we are anti-black. That is who we are. We've been there for centuries, and we don't want your child or whatever, your descendants, to be a prince. That is just our standard. Accept it, and that is who we are.
You know, somebody has to break the ice. There will be several multiracial, even I foresee in the future, a completely black person that represents what black is. Hey, she even
looks whiter than most of the
hair still long, and she looks a bit white.
Right.
In the future, somebody will be bolder than Harry is and bring someone very black to the house. What Meghan is doing is setting the foundation for bigger conversations to happen. So for you accept that.
Yeah. So for me, for this conversation, when it comes to racism, the story that the royal family is standing by is that we're not racist. And however Meghan and Harry have told this story, it's just their version of it. There's no, the context is, in the context that is being said is different from the way it was said. But let's put that aside. Now let's talk about a woman who, and the fact that she's allowed to use her voice or not to use her voice. We sit down here, we're saying, I choose to challenge this, I choose to challenge that. The reason why I'm saying this is because there's just so much criticism on the person of Meghan, even though it was Meghan and Harry that had this interview, and he confirmed everything that she said. But I find that when a woman speaks up against institution, people are so willing and quick to shut her down. How dare you, auntie, madam, nobody only you day here. You have seen your mates, they were here before. You know, it's like, your mates have been here before you. This is not how they behave. Why are you the only one talking? Why are you raising your voice? Why are you criticizing something that you already know was there? Because it's there does not mean that when it's wrong, you cannot speak up for it. So when people are talking about it, imagine even your own little, your marriages, in your homes, in your own communities, at work, when you decide to speak up for something and you're being shut down, not because what you said is wrong, not because what you said is not true, but because you're a woman and how dare you stand up to the institution.
When we come back, we're watching this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Yeah, we said. Thanks for staying with us. So we're still on this issue of Meghan and Harry.
So I wanted to say to Miriam that yes, in every situation, there are always, some form of groundbreaking for acceptance. This is a few years old marriage. It's less than 3 years. 4 years. It's 4 years old. So give these people time to be who they are till they accept who they are. And don't focus on them. Just live your life. If Meghan had stayed on in the marriage, because Meghan had a precedent, Diana suffered even worse. Diana stayed on, and she played that role to defy them. She would go for the events, and they will be worried even after the news that they want the paparazzi to attack her on are out there about how much acceptance she has publicly. So you would have been true to yourself and live your life, because you see,
just to correct,
the way Oyibo people have mental health issues is different from the way we have it. We are built with more resilience. Life will hit you.
I'd like to invite our callers. I'd like to invite our callers because I'd like to hear, especially for those of you living in the UK, please call us on 081-270-53687 and call us on 091-091-390-76948. Talk about going to something.
You said Princess Diana may have gotten worse than what Meghan is going through. I don't know how to, I would not know how to compare that. But, you know, she divorced. Oh, yes. So the divorce, she actually left the marriage.
Well.
So she divorced from the Prince Charles. And she continued, and she was loved by the British people outside being a royal member. But Meghan is still married to Harry. And that was something that they brought up. They said that, thank God, they have each other. Diana was alone. Her husband wasn't there. Her husband was, you know, allegedly cheating on her with someone else. But the thing I want to discuss is mental health that you have just alluded to, about people being more resilient than there is. It's not true. It's not about the black person. It's not about the color of your skin. It's not about where you have lived. It's how you handle things. This woman's cry for help, one of the reasons they left, her husband, Harry, left, was because he realized that it was affecting his wife mentally to the point she was contemplating suicide. That's the conversation. We should never take this conversation about mental health so lightly. People die, people commit suicide when it can be avoided. You will take a person, we always talk about it, if you find yourself in a toxic situation, you take yourself out. Okay. And you're lucky enough to have a husband that understands it and follows out with you.
All right, let me take this call. Good morning, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live, go ahead, please.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, ladies. Right, I don't want us to base this thing on sentiment. You know, Meghan knew what she was getting into in the first place. You understand? She was supposed to be like Diane, that was there when everything was happening. She came out to talk, but this woman did not even stay like three years, and then she's all over the place. You knew the royal family and all their norms and whatever they are about. Why not support? Why not stay there? Why not let people know what you are? Don't play racist card. Nobody's talking about the skin. You knew what you were getting into. You're a black woman marrying into a white, you know, family, and they are even royal. So you knew what the family was about. You would have stayed. You would have stayed on. You are strong. You strategized yourself to marry the man in the first place. So you knew what you were getting into. Why not stay and let your voice be heard and let people know what is really happening? That's why, not that you pull away the sun. At the end of the day, you got what you wanted. Yes, you still went ahead and granted interviews upon interviews. We are all women here. So we know if you want to marry into a family, what you are going into. Now you got there, you don't know that it's going to be as severe as that. Then get out of the family. That's what you want. And that was what you did. So why the complaint?
All right.
Why?
Thank you very much, Simi. Yes.
I insist that Diana's case was tougher. She had to deal with, you know, deceit in the beginning, you know, adultery, and a lot of other issues before it was finally out there. So Meghan always had support. She has her husband. Now, on issues of mental health, I'm addressing Meghan's mental health instigated by the comments made after and pre her marriage in that home. So I'm not saying you have mental health issues. I would never disregard mental health issues. But I'm saying there are tougher ways to deal with things that just resort to even consider suicide, because things that you could have preempted. This is a year, over almost millions of years of tradition that you're trying to break. It will take work. It's a lot of work to do. Right. So you can't come there unprepared without some form of resilience, ready to face whatever comes.
So that's the point I wanted to talk about. That the fact that she knew the family she was getting into and going in there with some kind of resilience. Well, my own issue, the other issues I've seen was that clash of cultures. Because the British culture obviously is different from the American culture. So you go into a British family. If you go into an American, I mean, if you go to the Saudi Arabian monarch, there are ways you behave. You can't come in there. They have rules and regulations. If you're going to become a wife of one of the princes in Saudi Arabia, there's a modus operandi of how they do things. There's an ethical way of doing things within that space.
But Same
thing. An American girl coming into a British monarch, when there are rules, when there are ethics, when there are things that she had to live by,
followed.
But she refused. Did she follow them?
Oh, she did. Okay, let me let talk.
Let me just come in, because I think that we are all married, and we none of us have that major. I think both of us have like major culture differences. But even when you think you are aware that there are differences, nothing prepares you for when you marry.
The reality of it.
Like nothing, no matter how you feel, I've prepared. I know this will be different. Nothing prepares you for when you get married into that family. So she married, and she has a right to say, and she has a right to have the feelings that happens to her. It happens to people. the caller was also sharing that opinion of, oh, you've married, you should be prepared, you should know what you're going into. You might not know what you're going into. You might not be, you might not know the extent of how it would how the restriction would choke you. And the fact that she has support is a good thing, but yet when you marry into the monarchy and you feel like you should have a say and you're making yourself heard, and everybody around you is antagonizing you, even if you are the most confident person in the world, it would get to you. Oh, yeah. And so, while we acknowledge the fact that you should have been more prepared, we should help her. The level of backlash she has gotten since that interview, for me, even shows why she went through what she has gone through. Even ask you a because question. If she gave that interview, expressed that she was close to suicide, and yet people still hit her the way they hit her, imagine what she would have been going through, and we didn't know.
So my question, therefore, is, this is a culture of a people. The monarch is their identity. The same way you're a Yoruba girl. That monarch is a symbol of who a British man is. That, for them, is a major monarch. So you are coming in as a wife. And with this single interview, it looks as if you've broken down everything that defines who a British man, like that. That's what Piers Morgan was trying to explain to us. Listen, this is who we are. You, by marriage, by one interview, you have practically destroyed and crushed everything we stand for as a people. Do you know the magnitude of that interview you had? Now, could there have been a better way to address these issues within the monarch that you could have done than going on the global stage to embarrass our monarch? That is something that we're not looking at. I'll take this call. I'll take this call, then we'll think about your responses. Let me take this call. Good morning, are you there?
Good morning.
You are there. We can hear you very clearly. Go ahead, please.
This is Dr. Moyo. See, this issue is not different from, hello?
Yes.
We can hear you.
It's not different from what happens in Nigeria. You see some elite families, they'll say, oh, does she have a master's degree? Who is her father? Who is her mother? We are protectors in this family. We don't do this here. We are this thing. You know, it's so different. So, while they are affecting racism, we are affecting tribalism. Oh, I'm a PhD degree. You know, that kind of thing. I remember when one of my cousins wanted to get married. She was like, the father is a son, the mother is a professor, so she has a PhD degree. Are they happy together? That should be the priority. Do they understand each other? Can they live together? That should be your priority. You know, we are too close. We are full of classism, ethnicity. Is that different? That's the point.
Yeah. Thank you very much. She was just talking about classism, that this is something that happens even within.
We're going to bring it because we're going to bring it home.
May I just respond to what you said about you're going into a certain family and you should be prepared for it. So many people, when you meet a man or a woman, you fall in love and you have your conversations and you will be assured in many ways with the person you're going to, don't worry, I'll be there with you, I'll hold your hand. I was getting married to a man who had been married before with children. I was uncomfortable. I loved this man, he was fantastic to me. But we had a conversation like, so how would it work out? And he says, you know, there may be tough times, but I'm there holding your hand. So when somebody now decides that, okay, you're holding my hand and we're going into this, I don't understand why people say to her then, you should have been prepared. You should have come with armor tank and a helmet and 2 AK-47s because she needs to be prepared. The truth is that when you find yourself in a tough situation, you're hoping that the partner that you're in there with will be able to go with you and guide you. And if he thinks it's so bad for you, he did the right thing, because what could have happened are 2 things. She would have done what his mother did, which was leave the marriage, or do what they're doing now, which is live together.
Oh, no, destroy the monarch.
No. So that, in what way did it destroy the monarch? That's the part of the story that I think a lot of people are refusing to pay attention to. They did not leave. They were sent out. Both of them confirmed that story. They wanted to keep being working royals, but all they were asking is, these stories about Meghan that are untrue, come out and say that they're untrue.
Okay, let me
That's
take
what
this
we're
call
asking.
from UK. I'll come to you, Nima. Good morning, Rashid, are you there?
I am here, actually.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Can I continue?
Yes, you can. Go ahead. You're live.
Yeah, basically, you said it all, actually. I live in England for over 32 years. Since we're all talking together, I've lived here for over 32 years and lived in England. We all know what's going on with that. In here, we can predict what's going on with Meghan. Meghan, they were incompatible. I don't think they're compatible. I mean, what this lady, the other lady in Ankara said, she said, "Oh my was all." I mean, I don't think they're compatible. We are from African background. We're very happy about what Meghan is doing. She want to play smart, and you can't take the boy away from us. It's impossible. She's wrong from the day one. We know what's going on. The monarchy didn't want to say much. This guy has been warned. They warned him what he was about to do. Unfortunately, they messed everything up. And I wish Harry comes back. I wish Harry comes back to his sense and come back. We want him back.
Thank you very much. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we said there were two parts of this conversation. We're going to talk and thrash the issue of the Meghan, and we're going to bring the conversation home where let us bring it to the African context. So in our own way, we don't revere our monarchs as we do abroad. But there are other parts of the society that we revere, the rich people, you know, the cultural differences, tribal issues, ethnic matters.
Yes.
These are areas that we see differences and say, she's not worthy to be married my son. She's not worthy to be in our house. Where she come? Who's her father? That kind of thing. So let us bring it home in this situation. Because in the Yoruba country, they say that what Harry did, because for you to go and sit down in front of Oprah, it's like somebody to go and sit down in front of a major interview and expect them not to. She will extract every juice from you. So now let us bring it home. How should they have acted? If they were Africans, what would they have done?
No, me, I felt that Meghan was considerate of she knew what the consequence would be for the royal family. Because when Oprah threw a direct question at her as to who said what, she said mentioning them would be far damaging for them. So she knew to protect them to some extent. So she was trying to, let me just tell my story, if you will, she knew that. But the issue for me is that sometimes when you think you're marrying outside, it's the same problem when you finally marry inside. I remember Yoruba men trying to marry me. One of them, we went to the mother's house and she would refer to me as, how is she lasso? She would say it all the time. She would say she's joking. And she would say, how is she in lasso? And everybody there would just laugh. And I just said to myself, it's in the dates now, not a day problem. You may say, my school fee lost anytime. I just stepped out. So the dating ended. But I didn't even discuss with the man about it. I just made up my mind and said, okay, remain your mother's child and I will remain my family's child. Because I'm too committed to my family. And everybody work waka. And I'm married from my tribe. You see that dream? The reality was totally different. I was in shock, boss, like that. And I would break down. But the goal was clear. I just lived my life. Till everybody needed me and they came around and I was open arms. So I know what I'm saying when I say Meghan could have done it better.
How? Okay, no. So thank you for taking me there, because in the African context, there are wiser ways of doing these things. Yes, you go into families where they're manipulative, they subjugate you,
or you don't expect some form of resistance.
But even though they resist you, there's a way you restrain yourself from doing what Meghan has done. Now, the lesson therefore is that what should a woman do if you're in Meghan's position? Do you challenge the family you've gone into, the status quo, say, you know what, this thing I've been doing for centuries, I will not accept it, I'm going to talk about it? Or do you conform and say, that's how they've been doing it, let me go accept? Or do you just excuse yourself like Diana did? What is the right decision to make in this kind of situation?
There's no right decision to make in any situation. There's the right decision for you.
Right.
So if each individual would face different things and our reactions would differ, I cannot speak for Meghan. If I was in that situation, I am probably going to be able to say I want to stay there and see how I can change it, play the long-term game. That's my kind of person. Some other people would say, if I play this long-term game, I will not be myself in the long term. I probably would have, insanity would set in. So it is who you are that you must be, we must preserve ourselves. And we must care for ourselves as individuals beyond what everybody is saying. Many times we live for what people are saying more than ourselves. So when you find yourself in that situation, think about me. Would me be able to survive? Would I survive there? I know I probably will survive in a tough situation.
Let me ask Mariam this question. So if we wake up tomorrow morning and say, okay, the British law has said, you know what, we are removing the monarch system, but the family is no more, we don't need them anymore, and we're going to go back to the regular system, and would you say Meghan has won?
No, because I don't think that interview she had was about maligning the monarchy. I don't see it that way. I just felt that this is a woman that finally has an opportunity to clear the air, and she was doing that. So that conversation about the monarchy, you know, finally being dissolved, it would be unfair to put it on Meghan, but it would be what will happen because the scapegoat, hey, here she is. That would be so unfair because the British people, there's a quarter of them that have been having this conversation, like, what really do they serve, you know? And Meghan, even at the time, her coming in also sort of increased their popularity. Like, okay, they're seeing a different side. Oh, okay, they're accepting someone else. So if this story makes proves the point of people that they are racist or anything, it has nothing to do with Meghan, but they themselves. Okay. But now, talking about how a woman should behave if she found herself in a situation like that. You know, we've had conversation about marriages here all the time and how people find themselves, either they are abused in different ways. And here we always say to people, speak up, speak to somebody. If it's too bad for you, step out, you know, step away. Sometimes in the situation, it's the man that is the cause of your problem. We tell them, step away. But we have a situation where it's the in-laws that are the cause of his wife's problem. This man says when he comes home, he finds his wife breastfeeding his child, tears running down her face. I mean, I pray that our children meet men that love them so much, that understand emotionally what they are going through, and are able to hold their hands and take them out of a toxic situation. That should be our prayer.
I'm going to come to you because there's a question that came. There's a question I thought about now, but I'll take this call. Good morning, are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Thanks for calling. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, hi. My name is Tolu. I just wanted to buttress on something one of your colleagues mentioned.
Yes.
She said about the mental health issue. I would have been through. Yeah, that's quite real. That is quite real. It does not know any race. It does not know any women, female, male, or anybody. Mental health is real. That's number one. Number two, Meghan's issue was way ahead coming, and it was going to happen anyway. That was known by the monarchy. If you trace back to the story of his ex-girlfriend that he was dating in South Africa or something, which was, she's a white person, if I would say, they looked for a way to like end that relationship. Now, Meghan knew what she was getting herself into, to be honest. That's clear. But Harry was a different breed. This is a monarchy that's been running for, God knows, more than 100 years. You cannot toy. This is the only monarchy in the whole world that is still running. You cannot muck about with the United Kingdom monarchy. It's not done. So my take on this is that, look, we just keep on hoping that things work out for Harry and Meghan. And if it doesn't, he's in a limbo.
All right, we have to go on a quick break. Thank you very much, Olulokwe, for your views. There's a part of this story we've not talked about. How far would you go for your wife against your family? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Okay, so we're going to be wrapping up with this conversation, but because the objective of having this talk is to learn from every situation. Now, there's a part of it that I was saying before the break. How far would a man go to support his wife against his family? That's the angle I want us to talk about it now, because we're saying about in the African context. Do we see a man say, you know what, I'm going to put aside my family, I'm going to run away from everything I know and stand for, run away, elope, or take my wife and go to a different country and stay with her? Is that even Africanly reasonable? Is that even possible? Nima, let me come to you.
So, first of all, show your family that you're that family. You just have to, first of all, establish. So usually in Africa, when you are married to a Meghan kind of situation, the first thing your mother is shouting, this woman want to take my son away from me. So you let your mother understand, I'm your son, come rain, come shine. I respect and love you, but this is my new path. When you stick to it, that woman has to be patient enough to wait it through. So one person will get their confirmation first. It could be the wife waiting. And you know women, we want to be told every day, I love you, I will break the world, I will destroy everybody for you. But the reality is, if the person now destroy everybody for you, will that be the resolution that you need? Would it make you happy? For me, I would be the most dissatisfied person if that was the way my issues were resolved. So let everybody know their place. Reassure them of how important you are to them. And then, before you know it, the puzzle will fall in place. If Harry remained a royal, and Meghan remained his wife, after a while through this, something will happen. If the family continue to see our face, very soon, black will no longer be black or whatever. It will be a mindset.
The acceptance.
There will be some form of acceptance. It will take a while, but you walk through. You see, Harry was born into an institution people slaved to keep. Yes, he was found dead on racism, like Tepeteku, and we know. But, you know, it was people's effort and work and history. And their whatever their lives were. What you come into, you first of all accept. So you don't come in and say, change A to B first, so that I know that everything is working. And that's why I blame the pre-counseling to that marriage. That marriage, we knew from day one, it would take an effort. In fact, it would be moving mountains. Yes. You know? So I wondered, did the people around her just continue to say, don't worry, when time reach, we'll just let you do press briefing. Everything, we're on your side. But did they even have some form of discussion with her? So yes, you need to talk to someone who will help you walk through. My own counselor will say to me, I don't know how you deal with this. Now me, I'm counseling my counselor.
Okay, we have to wrap on this. Talk about your final words on this. Because we say that would a man support his wife? How far should he go? How far would he support his wife?
I totally don't agree with separating the family. I believe in having extended family, because it's something that I didn't have much of when growing up. So I try to do that, let everybody be together. But I just want us, before we run off, to re-emphasize, let's not trivialize suicide. If somebody says she was feeling suicidal, she might be feeling suicidal. Many that committed suicide said it, that they were feeling suicidal, and people didn't take them seriously, and then they committed suicide, and they are now crying over their grave. Please, if anybody is suicidal, if anybody says, I'm so much under pressure, I want to end it all, that is a signal for everybody to rally around them, not to say, be more strong, brace up. That's not the right time for it.
Okay, so and then for me, it will be that every time I refer to conversations we've had at this table, because we need to hold ourselves accountable. We've had conversations where we say, you need to be a man to get married. How can you allow your mother-in-law or your sister-in-law say this to your wife? You need to step in and step out and stand up for your wife. And that is what he did. And that is what we hope that our children's husbands will do for them. Or that is, you understand the responsibility of being a husband first, and then you hope that your family will respect you and the way you want to build your family, and then eventually everything will work out.
Also, family is important. I mean, the Buckingham Palace had said that the accusations of rape are concerning, according to them. Race are concerning, and to be addressed by the family privately. They also said that the issue of the recollections may vary, and that Oprah's interview will be taken very seriously. And my worry is about Archie. That's their son. And I feel that in all this, at the end of the day, he should be paramount in the conversation. Because it's about... Sorry?
She's pregnant.
And the girl.
And the girl and the baby they're expecting. It's about them, their family, their grandparents, the extended family. It's like giving a life to these children have families beyond just mom and dad. So let's not rob them of what the future holds.
Yes.
Let us keep them in mind. Say, you know what, these are royal, whether they like it or not. So in all the conversations we're having, even though they said yes, you know, but in all our conversation, let's put these children first and say, listen, I want these children to have family, both privately and extended, and it's important that we consider that. Let's take a few tweets before we bring in our celebrity guests.
So Israel Igboche says, for me, most people are really not following. Harry is not cured from the complicity of the monarchy in killing his mother. All this thing is almost another flip of the coin on his mother. Whether it was a total British girl, it will still be likely the same. We should free her, Joe. PJ Comedian saying, some of us who don't believe in it are going against it and marrying them. When you make such a decision as a man, you must stand by it till the end. You're building your legacy. Harry has started something big, but we haven't seen it yet. Let's just wait and see.
Any other tweets?
Okay, you want to take
first? Okay, life is first is Akimboyewa. Life is better than death. If my family wants to drive my wife to the point of suicide, I will choose my wife over my family.
Wow. All right, so still in the celebration of International Women's Month, no, International Women's Day, and I think it's Mother's Day this weekend on Sunday. Mother's Day is on Sunday, so there's a lot happening for women this month. So still in celebration of International Women's Day, we are going to be inviting a Nigerian singer, songwriter, actress who gained prominence back in 2014 after releasing Thief, a song that was nominated for Best Alternative Song at the Headies back in 2015. Welcome with us, Simisola Ogunleye Koshoko, better known as Simi. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Are you there? We can't hear you. I think you're still on mute.
Can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go.
I'm here.
Yes. How you doing, Simi?
I'm very fine, thank you. I don't see anybody. I can't see anybody. I hope that's
we can see you
fine,
very clearly.
I can.
All right.
Okay.
So, first of all, how is your boy?
Girl.
Is your baby girl?
It's a girl.
How is your girl?
Yeah.
How is your little girl?
She's fine. She's amazing. She's very good. Thank you very much. She's great.
So as we celebrate International Women's Month, we're talking about challenges women face in the entertainment industry. Tell us a bit about those challenges you faced and how you're able to overcome them.
Actually, this is something I'm quite passionate about. I've always said that I think that in pretty much most of the industries in the world, of commerce or, of transaction or whatever, women usually have to do like double, triple the work to get half the results that men do. And it's something that's happened for so long, and it has beaten some people down even. Some of us are lucky enough to have been able to come out on the other side in spite of, whatever discriminations or prejudice may be happening. But this is something that I'm like, when I was a teenager or like much younger, nobody used to say anything about Women's International Month or Women's History Month, and so I'm glad that these conversations are happening now and people are paying attention, more than they used to. My career definitely, there's a lot of things that you hear, especially when you're coming up, when you're starting out. People sometimes they expect you to look a certain way. When a guy is, for example, trying to break through, you don't hear as many conversations about how they look or whether they're sexy enough or whether their skin is right, as much as you hear for a woman. As a woman, you're hearing, can you play sexy, for example? Or recently on Twitter, I heard somebody saying something like, I don't really like working with women in the industry because women are more difficult. I've heard things like, they want to do makeup now. It's just like the weirdest things, and it's almost like just being a woman is already too much work for people to handle. Right. And as a woman, if you start to demand I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, Simi. So, when you come across you're soft-spoken. People say, oh, she has such a sweet, nice voice. And there are 2 occasions on Twitter where you used your voice, and I saw the backlash, especially from men, when you talked about fraud and you spoke about, you know, the recent Thames and Sam Clef issue. And I find it that, do you think it's because you're expected to be the sweet little girl on the side that does not ruffle any feathers? And how does that make you feel?
I definitely feel like that's part of it. You know, this when you have an opinion about anything and you're in the limelight, people, yeah, everybody sees what you're saying more. Everything you're saying is like times 10. So when you are using that voice, especially doesn't have anything to do with music, for example, they're upset. See me, I've seen people that tell me that see me does not get angry. And if someone is angry, I'll be smiling. But that's really not the case. So I know that that's definitely part of it, that I'm expected to be quiet or stay in my corner or know my place. But you know, I've never really cared. I'm not new to backlash. People have given me backlash for different things because maybe they don't like my shoe, for example. So, you know, I believe that if I'm passionate about something, I'm going to speak about it. I'm going to speak on it. I'm not saying I'm going to be right all the time, but like I'm not afraid to use my voice because I'm privileged to be in this position. And as much as possible, I want to speak out for the things that are important to me.
So, Simi, thank you for, you know, for breaking our hearts, because we thought you would help us rescue files from bachelorhood, but you completely disguised on that one. And I felt that, you know, the way your relationship with Adebule Gold was, and even the wedding was so private, you must feel the need in this limelight to protect what is dearest to you. Do you feel that way? And how do you see people hounding you for personal information?
Or what?
Do you feel the need to protect your family?
Oh yes, definitely. Even before I got married, I've always felt like it's important to separate or compartmentalize, you know, parts of my life because of how public my space is. I know that whatever I put out, I can't take it back. So if I'm telling people this, it's no more my information to protect. So that's why I'm very careful with things I put out, because there are things I wouldn't say. It's not like I don't want to share things, you know. It's just when I post things, the very small fraction of the people that see that those things are my friends, and my family. A larger fraction are people that I don't really know, people that I'm not close to. So I have to be careful the information I put out, because I want to have my space of sanity that has nothing to do with, you know, anybody else, that doesn't have anything to do with my music. So yeah, it's very important to me to do that.
So there are 2 things I want to ask you about. I'm sure there'll be time to go into it. First thing is, I saw that you had like a YouTube channel. You were doing like, we call it Stupid Conversations. That was pretty cool. And I want... Stupid Sessions, yeah. So what informed that, and what are you hoping to achieve on that side? And the first question I want you to answer is concerning your style of music. Now, you stood your grounds on how you wanted people to accept your sound. And we're in an industry where people are conformed into saying what they think people want to hear and sounding the way they think people want to hear. How was it for you singing the way you've been singing, and then everybody now has accepted you? What was it like in the beginning?
Or to answer the first question, I just really wanted a space where I could, you know, share my opinions, and I wasn't looked at as a singer that is talking. I just wanted to be this young lady that, you know, has opinions and sometimes wants to share with her friends, or just, you know, people that also have opinions to share. I think because, first of all, I'm a stubborn person. So if I want to do something, I'm not about doing anyhow. Like, if I have an idea about something and I'm very confident on it, I stand my ground. So, like, in the beginning, doing the sound that I do, it wasn't exactly easy because that's not what everybody else was doing. But because I believed in it and I was sure of it, I, you know, put my foot down. And I guess the more that people have seen that I'm able to own my space and do my job well, they've accepted it, and now they actually want more of it. Now I've seen more artists in mainstream that are doing, you know, more diverse sounding music, more alternative sounding music. So I think that I've done a great job, and I'm proud of myself.
Okay, Simi, you mentioned earlier that, you know, it's more difficult for a woman in any industry around the world. It's almost like you have to do much more. But we cannot deny that, you know, there's this competitive mentality amongst women. Women, you know, we sort of... So we have to advocate women, supporting women so much so that women will turn towards women and grow them. How is it like your relationship with other female artists within the industry? And how do you, you know, see the comparison sometimes made by your followers when they say, okay, you don't like to do sexy, and they compare you to another artist like the one that trended some time in the past?
Yes, I think that's... It's almost like a natural, like, I don't know why it happens, but like, I think somehow people assume that it's healthy, or it's just vibes to be pitting women against each other. You see a woman that's trying to get her own break in the industry or win, and the next thing, they've already compared her to somebody else in the industry that is making it. And I genuinely believe that there's space for everybody. Everyone has room to succeed. We're all like, there's so many talented people, and I don't think that women should be having to struggle to make it because they're trying to, you know, separate from other women. And I guess maybe there's this subconscious pressure that we might be going through where we're thinking, oh, if I do this now, they say I sound like this person, or if I work with this person now, you know, how are people gonna... I don't know whether it's in our heads now or something, but I feel like women, because like there's something I say again, that women are fighting plenty battles. They are fighting for their family. To be a woman to be a musician as a woman here, first of all, the kind of support you get is not the same, you know. So you're fighting from that angle. The audience is telling you what they think you should be looking like. The executives are telling you what you should be looking like. You yourself, you're fighting your own battle. So sometimes you might come off as defensive. Meanwhile, you're just trying to protect yourself, you know. And over time, going through this over and over, it will just, it's stressful.
Right. Let me go a quick break. But when we come back, we'll continue this conversation with you. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Hi, Simi. Thanks for staying with us. Simi, are you still there?
Yes.
Yes. So, Simi, one of the major things a lot of female artists and celebrities go through is the ability to balance their homes. Especially, we see lots of celebrities have issues with divorces, issues with their spouses, being there for their children. You have a baby now. How have you been able to manage all this together and still be very functional at your work?
I think it's learning how to prioritize. It's learning how to prioritize and just don't drop the ball. I mean, sometimes you probably will drop the ball, but like be very, very deliberate about the things that you're doing. I don't like to give relationship advice because I feel like everybody's story is different. Everybody's space is different. And, you know, you can't really tell what people are going through unless you're there. You know, but for me, I just like to prioritize. I know the things that are most important to me. And I don't take my eyes off the prize, regardless of what I'm chasing or what I'm trying to get. You know, having a baby in the mix is definitely harder, especially as a mom, because a mom's job is not easy. Like I said, I prioritize. Now the things I don't do as much, because before I could sit in the studio for like 12 hours straight. But now I don't have that luxury anymore. Now if I get 2 hours, I'm lucky. You know, so I just pace myself because I understand that that's how it is.
Yeah. So, Simi, you're a mother of a daughter, and usually you hear from people once they have children, they begin to have two daughters, sort of their perspective on life changes. I'm wondering, what are the things now that you're a mother you would hope you see better in our society so that your daughter will grow up and enjoy that? And what are some of the things you would like to see end?
I mean, one of the things I was most scared about when I just had my baby was that the world is crazy and you cannot protect your child from everything, especially as they grow older. So I used to have a lot of anxiety about it, right? But one of my mantras is worrying changes nothing. Worry doesn't make anything better. So I guess my hope is that I can put in as much good, along with her dad, put in as much good in her head and her mind. So even when she goes out into this crazy, crazy world, she has enough to buffer her, to protect her. So even if she makes mistakes, she has a foundation that helps her. Because the world is getting crazier and crazier. As we have access to more, it's getting wilder, especially for kids now. Kids aren't even really kids anymore because of the things that we have access to. Social media is a wild place, etc., etc.
I can understand. Even I worry about it when you scroll online and then you see nudity. You're wondering, is this what my son is going to be going through in the nearest future? I'm keeping them
everybody can access it, exactly.
So. Really bad. I want to ask you a question though, and not pitting you against your husband, but it's just that sometimes I look at it like, how do you cope? How do you, there's a song, Bite the Dust, and I read on your social media that you said it was his own song. He was doing the song, you liked it, you wanted to do a verse, then he told you, put the song on your album, and then it's a very wonderful song. So how do you creatively collaborate without feeling any bit of competition? Like maybe you say a word and it turns into a music and then it blows with the music and you're like, that was my line. Does that ever happen?
I absolutely love music. The reason why I do music is because I'm obsessed with it. And I think that I've been very blessed in my life to be with the person that I'm with, because I think we just really get each other. Besides the fact that we're together or we're married, we're actually friends, and we actually also respect each other in the industry that we're in. So it helps us to be able to tap into ideas and everything. Like I said, when we're actually in the States, when he was working on a song, and me, I begged for a verse. I'm like, I like this song, let me sing. And then he's like, oh, this thing will fit your EP, let's put it inside, And I think that I don't think that we have that competitiveness between us. At least I haven't felt that energy, and we've been together for a while, and it just makes me better as an artist, and I hope that it makes him better as well. And we work together. I don't feel any insecurity. I want him to win. I'm the kind of person with him where if we're both up for something, I want him to get it, because his win is my win, and I mean, unless come and tell me something different tomorrow now, I believe that is the same thing for him, and I think that just makes it beautiful to always be rooting for each other.
Okay, it's good that is your major support system, but some women have to put boundaries. Some people will say, okay, we are in music together.
I'm sorry?
Some women have to create boundaries for their own to work.
Yes.
So I'm just going to ask how yours work. So in yours now, you both are artists. Do you have different record labels? Do you put boundaries on certain things? Even within the home, do you draw a line on some things and say,
everything is together.
Mr. Gold, say that side, all of you are.
Oh, definitely. I think that's another thing that actually makes it work. Like we've never been under the same record label. Right now, we're both independent, I think, but like one time he was signed to YBNL, I was signed to Extreme Music. Like when it comes to business, we don't button. Like, I mean, when I say business, like things that have to do with his team, for example. He might ask me for advice, but he doesn't have to take it, and vice versa. There's no force. There's no, I have to do this to please you. And there's no pressure to be that person. So we're not trying to pretend to make it work. We understand that there's space for everything. It's just that when we do merge and when we do collaborate on things, the synergy is great because we're in great headspace. We're just, I don't know.
Right.
Life is too short.
Okay, let me bring this back to the International Women's Day celebration, because I'd like to know what you challenge. I mean, it's important for us to be clear. What is that thing you challenged today? And I'd like you to tell us on the show.
What I'm challenged to do? Is that what you're saying?
No, what you choose to challenge. The theme for this year's International Women's Day is every woman is choosing to challenge something. So what's that thing generally that affects all women that you choose to challenge?
Yes. I choose to challenge the stereotypes that says that women do not deserve as much as men, and sometimes more if they work more. I choose to challenge the stereotype that women are not worthy of the same things that they work for, because we are. We're more than enough. We're passionate. We are amazing multitaskers, and I've chosen to challenge that for a long time, and I will continue to challenge that until it changes.
We have to wrap up, yeah.
Okay, to wrap up, but I just have, we like romance in this here. So, you know, in the beginning, everybody thought you were supposed to be one particular very funny person, and then you chose someone. Why did you choose your husband? What was it about him that made you choose him?
I was dating my husband before I met Pao.
Oh,
so
no.
Yes, I was dating.
So can you tell us something romantic about
I was dating my husband. We were just working, and people were saying we're dating. About who?
Your husband, something romantic that he does that makes you smile.
Oh, he's always surprising me. Always. Oh, we've been together 7 years now. He's always surprising me, and he's always making me cry happy tears. So.
Aww.
So Dejare is not a common, like, I don't know, I don't see it as a very, very common name to give a girl.
No.
What informed the name for your daughter? And
go on traditional.
I guess, I mean, for my husband's side of the family, they use the word Ade Lotus because I think their family is royal, is Kosoko, and I like that. So we actually had the name like early on in my pregnancy, and we fell in love with it, and I mean we're still in love with it. We call her Deja. But yeah, it's not a unique name. That's another thing that is appealing about it actually. So yeah, I was glad that we went with that one.
So let me take some tweets for you. Andrew in StarTimes is saying, I think Simi is a smart Nigerian lady. She's well equipped for the 21st century.
Thank you.
Ayodele Ababiaka says, Simi,
amen to that.
Like your naturalistic. Keep it up. That's what he said.
I'm sorry?
He said, Simi, I like your naturalistic.
what that
All right, we have to wrap up, Simi.
True to yourself.
We're going to wrap up very soon. Simi, is there any
Thank you.
Tell us what you're working on and what's out there for us about Simi that we can check up online.
Yeah. Well, I dropped my EP late last year, Restless 2. So if you haven't checked it out, you should check it out. I'm working on my next album to come out later this year. I'm really excited. And I hope that I can make the kind of music that people continue to be proud of and people continue to want to listen to.
We love
your voice.
Like, we love your voice.
So we're gonna play.
Thank you.
We're gonna play
Thank
your
you.
song to wrap up. Let's hear
which one.
Which one are you gonna play for us? We're gonna get one of her songs.
I heard Education. They should not play that one.
No, but I can never hear enough of that
Simi,
song.
you should collect money for everybody using that song.
There for you. Okay, we're hearing There for You. That's what they play for us. Okay, let's hear There for You. Simi, are you there?
I'm here. Thank you so much.
Tell us about that. Yeah,
I wanted to ask you, you know, your lyrics, it shows street sense. So how do you write your songs? And what informs, you know, those slangs, they just become code for life. You know?
I guess I tap into myself. I tap into my friends as well. And sometimes it's just vibe. Sometimes it's really not that deep. Sometimes it is that deep. But I think that the nicest thing about my songs is that people can relate to it, and I like to always, you know, play on that. So yeah.
When you're with guys on set, does your husband come along with you? Is it a problem for him?
No. No. It's like, I mean, no.
What is he no to? Him on set or
No, what?
Okay, Simi. Let me not push further. We have to wrap. All right, but thank you very much, Simi, for joining us this morning. We appreciate
Thank you for having me.
And we wish you luck on this campaign. I mean, because the issue of women in the industry,
Thank you.
getting that opportunity is quite important, and we appreciate that you're pushing that agenda to ensure that women are treated equally across board. Thank you so much. That's all we can take on the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Have a fabulous day. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. We'll see you Monday. Bye for now.